Hi guys! Today I'm going to show you a very quick, very easy little project. I'm going to call it Confetti because it kind of looks like confetti. And it's translucent clay only and some alcohol inks. I'm using my Picassios again. And I've got the magenta, sapphire and turquoise ready to go. You'll need a little cutter. I've just got this, I think it's a 1-inch square cutter. I've rolled the clay onto a number 4, 0 being the thickest setting on my Atlas 150. You'll also need a brush and a ball tool and a blade and a roller and some alcohol just to clean the brush with. So first thing first then, I'm just going to cut my squares out. I'm not being overly particular as to how many. You're just building up a stack so you can make it as big as you want. So simply just cut out your little squares. I'll just use this all up and see how we get on. Let's put that to one side, but I'm just going to put these over here out of the way a little bit, and I'm just going to colour 3 of the squares with the alcohol ink, and I'm just going to move you down a little bit. It seems a little bit far away. I think that's better. Okay. Alright, so first colour then. I'm just going to drop some ink onto my brush and I'm just going to colour it, and that's dirty. Okay, that's okay. So just paint it on and then leave it to dry. Simple as that, really. Now you don't have to use these colours, of course. You can use any colours you would like, but I really like purples, as you know, probably, if you've seen my other vids. I like purples and blues. Just cleaning my brush off for the next colour. So then I'm just going to go with this sapphire. And again, just brush it on. And leave it to dry. And then the last colour, which is this turquoise. Let me just clean my brush again. Okay, so last colour then. And that's it. So once you've painted your colours on, you just need to put those to one side and leave them to dry. So I will just do that. I will go off camera, let them dry, and I'll be back. Okay, these have been left to dry, and I did forget to mention at the beginning that you'll need some metal leaf. I'm going with silver. This is silver and gold, but I just grabbed them both. So yeah, you need some silver or gold leaf as well. Although it doesn't have to be silver or gold, it could be any colour you want, but that's what I'm going with. So take your first little square of trans, and you need your blade, and we're just going to chop these colours into little thin slithers like this, and just randomly place them on top of the trans in all directions. You can do little tiny pieces like that, or longer pieces, and just kind of overlap them. And you can do different colours on the same square of trans, or you don't have to. You could just keep one colour on there. I like to mix it up a little bit, so that's what I'm doing. Now I have done a very similar tutorial to this, but I did this like when I first started out doing tutes, so it's, I want to say, about 1.5 years old. but I used colours. I didn't use trans. I think there might have been some trans in it, but I didn't do a translucent pendant, if you see what I'm saying. I actually used coloured clay. So I thought I'd try it with just the trans, and it came out pretty cool. So, and it's so easy as well. And I'm just going to layer another piece of trans on top of that, and then I'm just going to grab a little bit of silver leaf and pop that on there, like so. On there, not on my finger, like that. And just give it a little press to make sure it's on there. Grab another piece of trans and lay that on the top of that, and go to the colours again and just take little slices. And you can see I'm kind of doing angular cuts, and just placing them randomly, and they're all different sizes. Let's go with some more of this. Just layering it over the top of each other. Little press. Let's add some more of that darker blue. And what I also like about this technique is you haven't got to worry about mixing colours, and you know, it's just really simple and really quick. Another piece of trans then, place that on top, give it a press, and I'm just going to grab some more silver leaf and plop that on there. Just give that a little press. Another piece of trans, and you can keep going with this as many times as you want until you've got the stack as big as you want it. I'm not going to make a huge stack, but you could make this as big as you wanted. So just keep doing the same thing. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I actually did another colour. I added another square of colour, and I used, I think it was Orchid out of that Picassio set. Yeah, Orchid. I forgot to mention, guys. But again, it's on you which colours, how many colours. You could just do one colour if you wanted. Or maybe I did mention it. I don't know. Anyway, if I did, you heard me say it twice. Okay, so another piece of trans on top, and another layer of the metal leaf. And I'm thinking yeah, I'm going to put this on there, and I'm going to add some more colour, but then I need to roll out one more square of the trans to put that on the top. So I'm just going to quickly do this. I suppose I could have stopped earlier, but I carried on, so I do need one more square of trans. And you can see how random it is. There's no precision involved. It's just mega easy. Just a little bit more of that blue. And I think that's good. So there's a little bit left, but not too worried. I'm just going to quickly roll out another piece of trans clay. I won't disappear, I'll just do it while I'm on camera. We only need one little square, so I am going to condition this a little bit though, because I don't want any plaquing in this. So I'm just passing it through several times and stretching it a little bit as I go. Although it's going to get a little bit more conditioned again as we go through the process. But anyway, there's another piece of trans, and I'm just going to cut another little square. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Okay, so there's that. So I'm just going to get my little block and just give it a little squeeze just to make sure it's all nicely stuck together. And I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to turn it upside down, so blunt side. Don't cut yourself like I did in one of my more recent vids. And I'm just cutting through at an angle all the way through to the bottom, and then I'm going to crisscross it and take it through this way as well. Don't panic if it falls apart a little bit like that just did. You just squeeze it back together. But I'm just taking it all the way through. Give it a little squeeze. So you've got this nice little crisscross pattern on the top. And then I'm going to take my ball tool and I'm just going to poke in through some of those squares. Probably not every single one, just in random places, like so. And I think that's good. So that's what you've got so far. So it's a crisscross pattern with some holes poked through. And then you just need to close it all back together. Now I am going to do some on the other side as well, I think. So I'm just going to flip it over and do a few more little cuts. Crisscross like so. And let's just poke a couple more holes in here and there. And that's it. And then just squash it all back together. And I forgot to get cutters, didn't I? What cutters do I want? I think we'll make some earrings, so I'm going to go with that one. I've got that many cutters now, and I really need to organise them better. I never know which ones to go with. Decisions. I should have thought about this before I started recording, but I think I'm having one of those brain fart kind of days today. I seriously don't know. Okay, I'm going to go with that one as well. I'm just going to make some earrings, I think. Alright, so, and you know what else I forgot, guys? Derp. I forgot some backing clay, but we'll get to that. So anyway, back to this. Just give it a nice little squash. You can even give it a little bit of a roll. You just want to kind of close that pattern back up. Like so. And forgive me for being a ditzy today, but I just need to roll out some more translucent clay for the backing. And I'm going to roll this onto a number 2. So the backing's a little thicker than the squares that I cut out. I don't want them too thin, but I don't want them too thick either, seeing as it's going to be earrings. I like to make my earrings a little bit thinner. Partly because even though polymer clay isn't really that heavy, I just think earrings are better if they're a little lighter. But also, I often use jump rings in earrings, and it's just easier to get a jump ring through a thinner piece. So I'm just conditioning this trans. Now a little tip for that, I don't know if any of you, most of you do know this, but some people might not. When you use translucent clay, oftentimes you'll get what is called plaquing, which basically means there's air trapped in the clay, and you can see it once it's baked. Now, to limit that, because I don't think it's possible to completely eradicate those, but to minimise it, let me just quickly show you. Get your piece of trans, fold it, hold it open with your finger and pass through the machine, fold side down, and then let it go. That way all the air is being pushed back up through the top, and it just minimises the plaque, and also give it a little stretch periodically. So give it a stretch, fold it over, pass it down that way, and you'll see if there's air pockets or not. And this is being minimised. I'm not saying there won't be any, but this definitely helps to minimise them. Alright, so I think I'm good with that. So that's my little piece of backing clay. So even though I forgot to do it, it kind of worked out well, so I could explain that to you. Right, so now it's just a case of taking thin slices, like so, very thin. And as you cut through, you're going to get a different amount of colour showing through, depending on where you cut. And it's as simple as that, guys, really. I mean, it's so simple. So I'm just going to, oh, there's some silver leaf showing through now. It wasn't really showing through on those top layers because, of course, I didn't finish it with silver leaf. So obviously the deeper you go, you're going to pick up some of that silver leaf as well, which is kind of pretty. So let's get some good slices out of this before I go ahead and put it on some backing clay. And it really is just random slices. Whoops. I think I'm probably good. Get a few more out of this. I'm just trying to pick some more of that silver leaf up. If you can see that. And it's not a very strong pattern, you know, with the cutting through and stuff. It just adds a little extra something. And I think I'm going to stop there. Now this piece, I might just leave it as is and make it into a pendant without slicing any more off. So there is that option as well. You could just cut whole slices if you wanted. But I like to do it this way as well. So I'm going to get my pieces. I'm going to see which side looks the best to me, and I'm just going to start laying them on my backing clay, like so. Easy as that. So this is basically a Mokume Gane. It's a translucent Mokume Gane, and I've decided to call it Confetti because to me that's what it looks like. So I'm just gonna put that little bit in there. There's a gap, and again it's random. You're just piecing it all together. Doesn't matter if it overlaps a little bit because it's all going to get rolled back out again, but that's all you do. Very easy. Now I'm sitting here kind of nervously because when I first came down I saw a humongous spider, and obviously it scurried away, but I'm like conscious of it being near me. I'll die if it comes near me. Oh, I can't stand spiders and bugs. But if I scream, you'll know why. So I'm just giving this a roll just to smooth it out a little bit. And I think I will give it a burnish as well. I'm going to bake it on some paper, so just grab my paper. This is just regular printing paper, it's nothing special, and I'm going to use my steel soap. All these things are listed in my Amazon storefront, and the links are in the description. So that will be in there. What else did I use? The silver leaf will be in there. These cutters are from Oh Joy Creations, but again, I'll leave a link to her. So I'm just giving this a nice burnish, just to make sure it's really smooth and all the pieces are nicely joined together. Just peel that off, have a feel. It's a little bit thicker there. Just give that another quick rub. And I think that's good. Okay, so that's the little veneer. I'm just going to quickly lift it up. I just want to see what it looks like underneath, because I want the backs to be smooth as well. So I'm going to give the back a burnish too, because the thing with burnishing on a tile, the clay tends to stick to it, and then when you lift it up it leaves divots, so it's a good idea to give it a burnish on the back as well. Just so it's nice and smooth. Just a little bit more, I think. And I think we're good. Okay, so that's it. Simple as that. And now it's just a case of cutting out the shapes. But I am just going to give this another gentle roll just to make sure it's stuck on the tile again. It's just easier to cut that way. Right, so I'm going to find an area that I really like and just cut it out. I really love these earring shapes, and I really wish I did actually wear earrings, but I don't. I used to. In my 20s and stuff, I used to wear those great big dangly things, but don't wear them anymore. I've got 3 piercings in each ear. I don't know, I just feel like they don't really suit me. I've also got my nose pierced. I've just got a little stud in that, but earrings, not so much. I do wear pendants, and obviously my engagement ring and whatnot, and sometimes I'll wear a ring on this hand, but it's usually just pendants for me. So I'm going to cut this piece out as well. And if you're a beginner to clay, because I've had some people asking questions on my channel that are very, very new to clay, so just a little tip: when you're cutting your pieces out, if you've got an acrylic block like this, it's just so much easier to cut the piece out instead of trying to do it with your fingers. And then also to give it a little bit of a wiggle like this, just so it doesn't stick to the cutter. Okay, so they're the pieces. I've got some left. I can make something else with that, but that's all I'm doing today. And then another little tip for beginners: if you get your knife, your blade, I'll show you again in a second. Let me just get rid of these crumbly bits on the edges there, but these are going to get a little bit of a sand once they're baked. Okay, so now you've cut your pieces out and you want to lift them off the tile, but kind of do it at an angle and kind of shimmy it underneath, and that helps to lift the pieces off the tile. Okay, so there's that. Looking kind of cool. Alright, so they're the pieces, just some simple little earrings. So I'm going to go and bake these. And again, for beginners, the temperature that you need to bake the clay at is on the package of whatever clay brand you've got. Now this is Premo, so this needs to be baked at 175. But I always bake longer than is recommended. And most polymer clay artists do. Better to be safe than sorry, in my opinion. I mean, these are fairly thin, so 30 minutes should be good, but I always bake a little longer, and I will go 45 minutes with these. For something thicker, like a thicker pendant or something, I will probably bake for an hour. I don't think these need cleaning down, but again, just a little quick tip for beginners. I've got some rubbing alcohol here, isopropyl, that word I can never say, a wet wipe, and I'm just going to give these pieces a quick wipe over, and that removes any dirt or any fingerprints, so your pieces are nice and clean. Alright, so very simple project today. I'm thinking a beginner could probably manage this fairly well, and I'm just going to go and bake them, and I'll be back. Okay guys, these are finished. Let me just adjust my microphone. These are finished. I resined them, drilled a hole through each one, and I found these really cute little rhinestone charm things. So I've hooked one of those over each jump ring, and then I did the earring hook. So there's that pair, a little sparkly dangly bit on there, kind of cute. See what I mean, how it looks a bit like confetti? Well, it does to me anyway. So that's that pair that I did. I mean, obviously you don't have to do earrings, you can do pendants as well, or whatever it is you want to make with this. And then I did the other pair much the same way, just added a different colour rhinestone. I shall list those in my Amazon storefront, as with the earring hooks as well. So you can find everything you need in there. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you later. Bye.